Welcome to Midweek Night Live. We got a good one for you this evening. Our co-host today is
the illustrious, the industrious, the apotheosis of fashion, Hayden, the problem, the solution, thanks to Hot Dogs and Taco Rogers. And co-hosting for Hayden today, thinks you are naked if you are wearing socks. He says GIF instead of GIF. He is the polarizing, the moisturizing, baptizing, capsizing, Mason, the Great Tate. Yo, welcome to tonight's show. We are so glad that you're joining in with us live.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here, especially during these times. I mean, COVID-19 itself has just been really unprecedented in the times that we have and what have been going on today. I mean, we've seen people all around the world not only changing their schedules, but also their fashion wear. I mean, look at the masks. Think about the masks that we have today, right? I mean, Walmart.
Yeah, you gotta go to Walmart.
Right? Even better. I thought Walmart was crazy beforehand, but now it's even better. I mean, check out some of these masks, right? Incorporate these into your fashion lives moving forward, right? First, you have this one. How about lettuce mask? Great one. And you have a delicious snack afterwards.
Saving it for later.
Right. What about sock mask? Even, getting double use out of all of your clothing items.
Yeah, no.
Please tell me that's post-laundry day. For those of you that were lumberjacks beforehand, now you are just dual purpose with a beard mask.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
I got a little something, but not enough. And then, even completely pointless uses of masks.
Yeah.
Just from...
That guy's struggling.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
He's hurting right now.
I mean, we see other crazy things too. Like in 10 days, 34 million people, I'd like to say I'm not one of those 34 million people, but 34 million people, including Mason, found it worth their time to watch a bedazzled man wrestle tigers. You might know this as Tiger King.
However, I did look it up. You cannot buy a tiger at this current moment.
Yeah,
in case anybody's wondering.
Stimulus check, right?
Hey,
Speaking of stimulus check,
even better, right? As we all know, Trump gave some lucky people $1,200 as a stimulus check, kind of keep the economy going. But I was shopping around the other day after I had my stimulus check, looking for something to blow it on, and then all of a sudden I saw Costco. I saw a TV in Costco, a nice big 82-inch Samsung TV, $1,200 right on the sticker. Coincidence?
Perfect.
I think not.
Yeah, no, and that person's not taking into account the tax that's going to go on that. Hey, but a good thing with your stimulus check to do, I heard that if you take it and you factor it out, you can get 140 number 3 on the Chick-fil-A menu, 12-count meals. 140 people with your stimulus check. That is a good way to use it.
That's a bargain right there.
That is a bargain.
That. Or then even now, companies all over the world are taking advantage of this, right? Like, for example, car companies have gone from, hey, you should buy a Dodge, to, hey, we understand this is some really hard times for us, but buy a Dodge.
Too soon. I literally just bought one, this weekend from Dodge.
Well, congratulations. I mean, every company liked to make sure that I knew their complete stance on COVID, right? Like, they wanted to make sure it was beat in me from day one of where they stood and what they were doing.
It's like every airline liked to let me know that at one point I did fly on their plane and that this is how they're going to protect me during these times. Right. It was crazy. And if you're a churchgoer and you've got a call from your grandma or your grandpa, you've probably heard "This too shall pass" at least 5,000 times.
This is my next tattoo.
This too. But, I mean, COVID has brought some good things. We've seen some incredible moves within COVID. Even here at Cross Fellowship Church, we've seen our attendance on a Sunday morning, because of being virtual, skyrocket, where we're seeing over 1,000 households, just 1,000 viewers. So that could be more than just the person watching. It could be a whole family. 1,000 viewers a week, at least, are watching our sermons. That's incredibly awesome.
Incredible. That's so cool. And even outside of just our church, it's happening all over the world too, right? Like between mid-March and late March, GMO Global Media Outreach saw a 170% increase in their clicks, which is roughly about 12.4 million gospel presentations.
That's incredible.
Over the course of
12.4 million people hearing about Jesus. That's incredible.
I love that.
Yeah, so in the first 4 weeks, we're just dialing into that internet evangelism, because that's what evangelism has been over the internet in these past couple times, unless you've had a 6-foot distance, we're a little bit too far, 6-foot distance conversation with somebody. But internet evangelism, there's another thing, another CEO, his name was Mark Appleton. He said in the first 4 weeks, 173,000 people visited the websites and more than 10,000 clicked a button indicating that they had made a decision for Christ.
That's so cool. I love that.
That's incredible.
I love that. I know we talked about a movement here at our church, here amongst the students happening, right? And the reality is we may not be physically together, but God is still moving. And it's not just he has moved now and now it's the next thing. No, he's still moving. Even though this is unprecedented times, he's still moving in our lives.
That's so good. And as we stated at the beginning, and as Mason's going to get tatted on his chest, this too shall pass. Joining us tonight, our guest artist. Some say he is the Keith Urban of Christian music. He personally says that his album, Something Beautiful Emerging, is better as a coaster on your coffee table. Travis Hastings!
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. Let's sing that together. You are here. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. Lift it up, sing this truth. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, yeah, I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Yes, it is. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Yes, it is. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Let's all make a round of applause as Travis joins us over here on the stage. Travis, good to see you tonight.
Good to see you, Peyton. Mason, how are you? Doing great, Travis. How about yourself? Doing well.
We appreciate that performance. That was great. You and your wife did an awesome job.
My wife is my better three quarters.
Hey,
Yeah, it's a good thing.
yeah, that is good.
Yeah, she married me so I could reach the stuff on the top shelf. That's it. She's the good-looking one and the smart one.
That is true. Yeah, she's more vertically challenged like I am.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but I mean, it's the truth.
Hey, I live it, so.
You know, most youth pastors are compensating for something.
Yes.
That's gotta be it.
All right, well, I have a question right off the bat, and it's one that's been pressing on my mind for a while.
Yeah.
And I've asked a few people, but I can't seem to get a solid answer. Either way I look at it. So if you had to tell me, because I feel like you're a genuinely smart man, what
stretch?
Okay. What does space smell like?
What does space smell like? I imagine it smells like, have you ever had those aerosol cans that you like clean off like keyboards?
yeah.
If you just sprayed that right out and just walked into it, I bet you that's what space smells like.
It's good, yeah.
That's my best guess.
Yeah, I think for me, I like to go a little bit more whimsical. I like cotton candy because I think more imaginative, right? Like If I had to go to space, might as well.
So for you, space is magic.
It's magic, yeah.
Hey, I'm with you. I can get on board with that.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
So Travis, you're the new kid on the block. You just recently stepped into a new role at Cross Fellowship Church as the worship pastor. Tell us a little bit about where you came from.
Well, you know where I came from well, because we are from the same place. I came from Moore, Oklahoma, the tornado capital of the world.
That's right.
And
Watching from outside.
also, if you read the Water Towers, it's also the home of Toby Keith.
That is right, yeah.
Yeah, they actually renamed our high school, Moore High School, Toby Keith Boulevard, the street it's on, which is ironic because he never graduated from high school. So, very good to know. So, that's how things work in the good old township of Moore. But I grew up there, spent some time in Montrose, Colorado, and then I've been back in Moore the last 5 years, and now I'm here.
Nice.
We want to know your personality. They can only get this, you've only virtually met people so far because we're in this interesting thing called COVID-19 or whatever. If somebody was to meet you, what would be some of their first impressions they would have?
He's tall. He looks like a fat version of Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's a good one. He's doughy. Not my favorite word, but I've heard it. Doughy. Usually pretty outgoing. I have a lot of fun. Most people, when they meet me and they find out that I'm a worship guy, they don't put two and two together. They're like, you don't act like most worship guys. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But if you meet me, odds are you'll meet Claire and the girls. And that's the best part of me anyway. So
That's a good answer.
yeah.
That's a great answer. Let's get a little spiritual with the people.
Okay.
So you've been pastoring for how many years?
Almost 20. 19.
Almost 20, wow. What is one of the greatest things that you've learned in those times? I know there could be a lot, but what is one of the greatest things you've learned?
That's a really good question. I think probably the best thing I've learned is that if you start thinking your ministry that you have anything to do with it, that's when you fail.
Wow.
You have nothing to do with it. So it's complete reliance on God and the Holy Spirit where they're leading you. And if you do that, if you try to do that, usually God honors that. And so you don't do it for God to honor. You do it because you want to honor God. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that really applies to any aspect of our life, let alone ministry.
Absolutely. Parenting, marriage, dating relationships, friendships, all of it.
That's good. So you're speaking to some youths here.
Okay.
What is something that gets you passionate about the youth? Why are youth? Why should we even like them?
Well, I'll tell you. Here's why. I think that the church is not made for people like me. I don't think the church is made for people like you. Here's why. We're adults. The church has already served us well. I don't think youth are the future of the church. I think youth are the present of the church.
That's good.
And so I think that if we're not using our youth, if we're not using their gifts, and we're not growing them, and we're not showing them and putting them in positions to lead, then we're failing them because they'll leave the church because, hey, that's for somebody else. It's not for me. I think the youth are the present of the church. I think for those of us who are older, I mean, you don't need to hear from a 40-year-old guy on Sunday morning. I love it when I have youth on worship team, and a lot of you I will be talking to at some point. We're going to try to get you on the team.
Yeah.
You need to be leading, not following, because it's our job to follow you. Because we are excited about you, and you are not the future, you are the present now. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love that.
So we have one more question for you.
Okay.
Unlike you and Mason, I have not been blessed with the gift of being able to sing and flex the vocal cords, at least for you to want to hear it.
Nice.
So in that sense, how do I still, you're a worship pastor, how do I still live a life of worship?
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working.
So really easy, I think, not easy to do, but easy to talk about.
Right.
What is the first mention of worship in the Bible? Do you know? Take a guess. Take a guess. I'm seeing blanks. That's
Is it
okay.
God saying it is good?
No.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
actual physical use of the word worship. It's Abraham getting ready to sacrifice his son Isaac. And so how I take that, and how I've always taken that in ministry, is that worship is not about singing. Corporate worship is great, but that tells me that worship is sacrificial obedience. So if you want a quick two-word definition of worship, it's sacrificial obedience. And so do whatever God calls you to do wherever you're at. And he will honor that, and you will be glorifying him and worshiping him in that, whether you can sing or not. So that's cool.
Wow, that's so good. One last thing for reals. What would you tell the youth if you were able to go back to their age and change something?
Great question.
Guys, listen to me real quick. So let's hashtag real talk here. You
Oh,
ready?
okay. Yep.
Save your money. There's a good chance the girl that you're going to marry is not in the room with you now. Now, there's a chance she might be. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. But guys, save your money. Had I saved my money, I could have afforded taking Claire out to like places nicer than McDonald's when I got to college.
Come on.
That would have been nice. And not just like, hey, you want to split some nuggets? I mean, like, you could take us like you could get two Big Macs.
menu, right?
2 Big Macs if you save your money. And girls, I would say this, being a dad with 2 girls, we can speak to this as men. We're not worth it yet. We're still learning who we are. We're still trying to figure out how God has wired us and what he wants us to do. And you women are more mature than we are. That's just in your DNA and your nature. And so you'll get there. So right now, the best thing you can do, love Jesus and hang out with a ton of people. Be friends. I can tell you cliques are the worst thing on planet Earth. Get to know everybody in every group because you're just better around it and you have more fun. So that'd be my advice.
So good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Travis, we appreciate your answers. We appreciate your time here today. But don't think that you are leaving without a little tease. Here we are going to be playing a game called Sneak Words. Now, the point of Sneak Words is we each have 5 cards here. We'll begin a conversation. We have to slip or sneak, hence the name of the game, sneak the word into conversation. So we will start with Travis, and we will proceed through, and we will have to sneak those words in.
All right. Well, I want to talk about maybe when I was a kid. Again, let's bring our more connection back. When I was growing up, I had an older brother.
Okay.
And his name was Shane. Shane and I would do everything together. One of my first memories is he would just kind of drag me along, and what were those called? The red wagons. Those red wagons.
Yeah.
He would drop, like, just kind of pull me behind him. Do you have any memories like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember, like, red wagons. Speaking of red wagons, there was this one time that I was with my cousins, and we were in red wagons, but we like to use them to go fast and go down hills. And so, they were pulling me, and they pulled me along, and I've always been the short kid, I've always been the small kid, so I could go a lot faster because I didn't weigh as much. So they'd all run, sprint as fast as ostriches, for that matter.
Oh, ostriches.
And when they did that, man, I just go down that hill so incredibly fast in that red wagon. It was insane.
Yeah, see, I'm like you guys. I didn't really have a red wagon. We did a lot of traveling as a kid, and so it wasn't necessarily a red wagon as much as it was a red car, right? Now when we would travel places, we'd always take snacks with us because that's just what you do on a road trip, right? In a big red car, you gotta have snacks and things like that. And, I will never forget the day that we were driving and we stopped at some place. My dad was really craving something. I'm like, what do you want, Dad? And so he walks in and we go to this restaurant and he gets this big salad, but on the salad all of a sudden he gets a lot of cucumbers. Now with those cucumbers, he really hit him hard because on our way, on the end of our road trip, actually turns out they were bad.
You know what sounds really good? Cucumber icy. Cucumber icy, doesn't that sound good?
Cucumber icy? Man, I feel like I've seen that, like cucumber and melon, like you see cucumber and melon Gatorade, you see, and sometimes when you smell it, all it does is just smells like roses and earth and like flowers and nastiness. It's just gross, like, can't drink that.
No, see, the only people that I really feel like actually would like that would be raccoons. Raccoons are definitely the only ones.
Raccoons, the problem with raccoons is, like, icy's everything, like, you can't like go swim or do anything for like half an hour once you've had, and raccoons, man, they're around water a lot, but For my problem with the cucumber icy is what happens afterwards. Like, first of all, what's that going to do to you? Cucumbers. I mean, I think you should wait at least an hour before you get in the swimming pool. That's what I think.
Wow, that is for sure.
Great
Because
advice.
Yeah.
you know, I've you know, sometimes you get the massacre of what you eat
Yeah.
afterwards. And there's these great inventions though. You should pick this up. And this is not a sales pitch for them. They have like poopery.
Poopery, yeah.
And they have
poopery.
lavender flavored poopery. I mean, it's
Lavender
just
flavored poopery, I've
or
heard.
scented poopery. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, it just takes it right away.
Wow.
That poop smells like lavender.
Man, see, I don't struggle with the smell as much. More of a sound for me, depending on what I eat, right? And the problem is, if I eat too many spicy things, all of a sudden trombones, it's just playing.
Sounds like trombone.
Sounds like
Does it
trombone.
sound like maybe you heard of dinosaurs?
Oh, even better.
Maybe
Even
you
better.
heard of dinosaurs? Yeah. Could be
Oh man,
terrible.
man, it's crazy that those dinosaurs, like, you know, they got hit with. I mean, who knows where they went? Maybe it was Noah's Ark. Maybe they got hit with what are those things?
Meteors?
Meters.
Yeah.
And they're in space, you know, around all the planets and Venus and Mars and Saturn. And man,
Good job.
dinosaurs. They were cool. I wish I could ride a
No
dinosaur.
question I've always had about dinosaurs. What I can't seem to put my finger on it, but I have to know. Do you think they had freckles?
I don't know if they have freckles. You know the one that always bothered me? The dinosaur, and it did have freckles. Remember Dino from the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's what I never understood. He was so tall, and then if you get to if you look the credits, Fred Flintstone works on a dinosaur. How does he get up there? Like, I think he had to climb a ladder. That's what I think. I think he had to climb a ladder to get up there. It's crazy.
You know, we're from the same place.
Yeah.
As I start to think about Fred Flintstone, all I can think about him and think about, you know, our ancestors and the people that really
Yeah.
came from is he had to have come from Oklahoma.
He had to have been from Oklahoma.
He's an Oklahoman.
He's
for
an
sure.
Okie. Worked hard.
Yeah, worked hard.
Worked hard.
Yeah.
You know who else who works hard? And definitely still from the South, right? I mean, we're going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma has great sound of music, things of that nature. But you know who really worked hard to make it from the South? Hannah Montana.
Hannah
Ah.
Montana.
Can't.
That's
So
what-
good. Could
that's
you
what
end
we-
on anything better than Hannah Montana?
I could end on so many things better than Hannah Montana.
You're probably right. But Travis Hastings, we are grateful that you were here with us. Thank you for talking to us, playing a little sneak words, and you have a great day. We hope to have you on the show again.
Appreciate it, Jim.
See ya.
Wow, what a cool evening. We got to meet someone super cool, Travis. We are super excited to welcome him
Yes,
to our
so
church.
excited.
Not only just for what he does musically, I mean, he's incredibly talented, but
He's
also...
funny.
Yeah, he's funny. Again, I didn't know he's the worship pastor when I first met him. Thought he was just a cool dude.
And a tall guy.
And a tall guy. Yeah, that's true too. But I'm super excited for what he can do with our church, but also how he can pour into people's lives left and right, just even outside of worship ministry. So that's super cool.
Yes, so we're glad that you joined us for the first night of Midweek Night Live, and we're going to finish the night with Matt Gandy with the news.
Hi, I'm Matthew Gandy with this evening's news, and I'd like to share with you tonight this week's upcoming events. First, this Sunday at 1:30, we're going to have our weekly Zoom call. We'd love to see you all there. Make sure you get logged in. Also next week, we have Midweek Night Live Part 2 at 7 o'clock. And then, very, very exciting, on June 7th at 10:30, we are finally going to be able to get back together and have church. We are meeting at the Ponderosa Camp location. For more information, just go on to crossfellowshipchurch.org, and there's some video and some helpful links there to point in our direction. Thanks again. Have a good night.